It's part of a teaching that belongs to a very vast tradition called the Vedic tradition. Namaste, my name is Nikhil. I am a teacher of Vedanta, Sanskrit and Vedic culture in Canada. Eric asked me to give a bit of an introduction to the topic of Ayurveda. Many people who have heard of Ayurveda think of it as a type of medical system, similar to Chinese medicine, homeopathy, or the medical system of the West. It does have some medical aspect to it. Many people have heard of being able to buy Ayurvedic medicines or use Ayurvedic treatments to help cure diseases. But really, Ayurveda is much, much more than that. And the reason for this is Ayurveda is not an isolated teaching. It doesn't exist on its own. It's part of a teaching that belongs to a very vast tradition called the Vedic tradition. If you look at the word Ayurveda, it's made up of two words, Ayur or Ayus in Sanskrit, and Veda. So Ayur means life. The word Veda refers to the source of all of the traditional teachings in India. Any tradition that you think of, any part of the culture that you can imagine from India, almost all of them come from a body of knowledge called Veda. For example, yoga is part of the Vedic tradition. The primary purpose of the Veda is to help us inquire and learn about what we are looking for in this life. Help us think about what we really want to achieve, and finally give us the means to accomplish that. So it is something that is really universally applicable. But along with this main central teaching about the goal of life, about what we're really looking for, the Veda also deals with many other secondary topics which are useful for this purpose. And as a result, the Vedic tradition has many other teachings which help prepare a person for this goal. And Ayurveda is one of them. There are many, many different teachings, everything from yoga to music and art, and Ayurveda also. They all fall within this tradition of the Veda. Some of you may have heard that there are 4 Vedas, or that the Veda is divided into 4. There's Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda. These are different names for different traditions within this one Vedic tradition. And each of these Vedas is associated with a secondary teaching, or something that has come down from that particular division. And so these secondary teachings, or Vedas, called Upavedas, Ayurveda is one of them. Ayurveda is the secondary or Upaveda that belongs to the tradition of Rigveda. And so the way that Ayurveda helps with this primary goal that the Veda teaches about be about inquiring into and finding out our central goal, the purpose for which we are living, what we're trying to find here. One way is definitely it does deal with health. So the Veda recognizes that a spiritual goal or a more deep goal of everyone is only possible when your basic goals are satisfied. So, for example, a person who does not have food to eat, does not have shelter, does not have the basic means for survival, is not really going to be able to inquire into what their deeper goal or their ultimate goal is in life. They need to have these basic securities first. In fact, more than that, even after a person has their basic securities, they need to gain a little bit of pleasure from life also, satisfy certain desires. Only then they will be able to see the limitations of materialistic pursuits, of the typical things that people do nowadays, everything from gaining money, having a job, and so on. So the Veda recognizes that these basic pursuits need to be satisfied before a person can have enough maturity and insight to inquire about why they are really here. And so one way Ayurveda helps with this is it helps maintain health, okay? So definitely there is a health aspect to Ayurveda, because only when one is healthy, one is physically secure, then one can have that maturity in that space to think about other things. If one is spending all of their time trying to take care of their health, whether it's basic nutrition or disease or even mental illness, one cannot inquire into these other deeper topics and deeper questions of life. And so one way Ayurveda helps an individual grow towards this goal and looking into what their goal is it helps them maintain sufficient health. And to this end, it does deal with certain treatments, remedies, foods that are conducive for an individual person, depending on how their body is constituted and so on, the healthiest way for them to live. However, the misconception that many people have is this is the final goal of Ayurveda, to achieve a kind of perfect state of health or make the body as healthy as possible. This is not true. Remember that Ayurveda comes within the whole Vedic tradition, and so its purpose also must be the same as that of the Veda. So if the Veda's purpose is to help us inquire about why we're really here, what we're really looking for, and help us achieve that, then Ayurveda must do the same thing as well. So in the Veda, we learn that in fact it's not possible to have a perfect body or perfect health at any time. Just like anything else in the world, the body is subject to growth and decline, to health and disease. And so the way that Ayurveda helps with our health is really just to give us enough health so that we're not concerned about our bodies, we're not concerned about our health too much, and we have time and we have that maturity to think about the more important questions in life. Another way that Ayurveda helps in this pursuit of trying to figure out what we're really looking for is something that most people don't really think of. Normally we think of Ayurveda as being a treatment for me. How am I going to improve my health? How am I going to remain healthy? In fact, the purpose of Ayurveda, in addition to taking care of one's own health, is to enable us to help other people be healthy also. And this is a very important aspect of Ayurveda. So one way that people grow and become more mature and start thinking about what they're really looking for in life is in fact by becoming more and more giving and less selfish. We grow physically throughout our lives just by staying healthy and eating and surviving. We grow intellectually also by learning things about the world around us. But many of us don't grow in terms of our maturity as human beings enough to be able to step back, look at our lives, and think, why am I really here? What am I really looking for? This is only possible when one becomes less caught up with the rat race, the everyday pursuits, the materialistic pursuits, just trying to always collect more and more things and improve one's lifestyle. It is possible when one starts thinking about beyond myself, so beyond just me as the individual. And a great way to do this and to develop this maturity is to start helping others. When one starts helping others and being concerned about others' welfare, then one grows as a person. One is less self-absorbed. One is less occupied with one's small materialistic pursuits and starts thinking in terms of a bigger picture. And finally, one can gain enough maturity that one can start questioning, why am I really here? What am I really looking for? And work towards that goal. So Ayurveda can help in this way because if one learns Ayurveda, one can start using that Ayurveda not only for one's own health, but also to try and contribute to the health of others. In India, there are many Ayurveda treatment centers, and interestingly, unlike modern medical treatment facilities, these centers are run on a voluntary basis. So people who have disease and aren't able to deal with them can go there and receive treatment for free. So it is an altruistic kind of life. It is a life of charity and giving, Ayurveda. That's not to say that one cannot practice it as a means for one's livelihood, but in fact, in all systems of medicine, people generally who are motivated to learn about and to live a life of medicine are people who have a concern for the well-being of others. And so this is true of Ayurveda, of course, as well. And so the second way that Ayurveda helps in this goal of being able to think about and finally pursue why I'm really here and what I'm looking for is by helping me, giving me a way to grow out of my own selfish needs and help others. And I can do that through Ayurveda. So you can see how Ayurveda is much, much more than just a type of Indian system of medicine. It deals with many, many more topics than just physical health. It deals with mental health also. And finally, the purpose of Ayurveda is much more beyond just health. It's about helping me understand and recognize what I'm really here for, what I'm really looking for. And as everything in the Vedic tradition does, it helps me work towards that goal. So I hope that this introduction to Ayurveda gave you a sense of the importance, the significance of this topic. And I hope you enjoyed the classes on Ayurveda that you're going to receive. Namaste.